Hey everybody, it's Good Math Guys again. As promised, here is video number 2 in our two-part series on the 8 rules for simplifying fractions. Hopefully you watched video 1 by now. If not, it's pretty necessary that you watch that one first. So again, if you haven't watched that one yet, go back and watch that one before finishing up with this one. You're going to get rules 7 and 8 in this video. So without further ado, sit back and enjoy.
Hi everybody, Mike and Sean back at you with the part 2 video on 8 rules for simplifying all fractions. In the first video we did 6 and 8ths and we're able to get the first 6 of our 8 rules. We're going to start out today with 12ths, which will give us rule number 7, and then we'll go to 5ths, which will give us rule number 8. Let's review what we have here. Got our fractions listed, LT/S. LT means that the fraction is in lowest terms, and then over here what we're going to do is give the math reason. Okay, so let's get going here. 1/12 is in lowest terms, and the rule that we got in program number 1 was that n is equal to 1. So anytime your numerator is 1, that fraction is guaranteed to be in lowest terms. 2/12 needs to be simplified because of the even over even rule. 2 is even, 12 is even, which means we can divide each numerator and denominator at least by 2. So if we do that, 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6. We know that 1/6 is in lowest terms because n is equal to 1. 3/12 needs to be simplified. And if we take a look at that, it's going to give us our new rule. So what we're going to do is go over here to the right-hand side, and we're going to factor the 3 and factor the 12. 3 factors to 1 and 3. 12 factors to 1 times 12. 2 times 6. And 3 times 4. And if we match common factors now, like we did in the previous show, we can match the 1s, not the 2s, because there's no 2 over here. We can match the 3s, not the 4, not the 6, or not the 12, because they're not found as factors for 3. So that means that our GCF is no longer equal to 1. Our GCF now is equal to 3, or we can say that the GCF is greater than 1. So that's what we're going to develop over here for rule number 7. We're going to say whenever the GCF is greater than 1, that fraction needs to be simplified. Now, remember program 1 on simplifying fractions when we were dealing strictly with factor tables. We said that you didn't need to do the division 3 divided by 3 and 12 divided by 3. Look for the pairing factors. So on the 3 side, 3 paired with 1, and on this side, 3 paired with 4, because 3 times 4 was 12. So that means then that we can write the 1 over the 4, and 3/12 equals 1/4. 1/4 is in lowest terms because n is equal to 1. Now, if you want to check that, the kids can do the division. They can say, how many 3's can I get out of 3? 1. How many 3's can I get out of 12? That's 4. So either way it works, but using the pairing factors here makes it a bit simpler. 4/12 needs to be simplified. Reason being, GCF is greater than 1. Okay, so let's go over here and let's factor the 4 and the 12. 12 we just finished, so all we need to do is copy those down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Factoring 4, it's 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. And then we'll match the common factors. 1's match, 2's match, and 4's match. So in this situation, 4 is the GCF. Now again, pairing factors. 4 pairs with 1, and here 4 pairs with 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 1 is 4. All we need to do is use the pairing factors to determine what the fraction is in simplest form. So here we have pairing factor of 1 for the numerator. Here we have pairing factor of 3 for the denominator. So we can say that 4/12 simplifies to 1/3. And 1/3 is in simplest form because n is equal to 1. Cool. 5/12 is LT because the GCF equals 1. Pretty easy to tell that because 5 is not a factor of 12. 12 doesn't divide evenly by 5, so at this particular point, we don't even have the kids bother to make the factor tables unless they want to. 6/12, simplify. Rule n equals 1/2 d. And again, we like this rule because 1/2 is what the fraction simplifies to. 1/2 is lowest terms because n is equal to 1. Okay, let's flip this over and we'll do the rest of the 12s. 7/12, LT. Reason, GCF equals 1. Again, I don't do the factor table here. The kids won't either, especially if they're 5th graders. 7 is not a factor of 12. Therefore, we know that the GCF would absolutely be 1. 8/12, simplify. GCF is greater than 1. So if we go over here and we factor, 8 factors to 1, 8, 2, 4, and again 12 factors to 1, 12, 2, 6, 3, and 4. And if we match common factors, 1 match, 2's match, 4's match, and that's it. 3's don't, 8's don't, 6's don't, 12 doesn't. We're going to say here that the GCF is equal to 4, which is certainly greater than 1. Again now, pairing factors. 4 pairs with 2. The 4 over here pairs with the 3. 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 4 is 12, so we got those pairing factors, and the pairing factors make the fraction in simplest form. So for the 8, it's 2, and for the 12, it's 3. So 8/12 simplifies to 2/3, and we know that 2/3 is in lowest terms because of the consecutive number rule. 9/12, we need to simplify. Again, let's go over here and we'll create a factor table. 9 and 12. 12 we said was 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. 9, 1 times 9, 3 times 3. We can match the 1s, match the 3s. So 3 is the GCF, meaning that our rule here is that the GCF is greater than 1. Okay? In this case, pairing factors now, 3 times 4 is 12, so the pairing factor here is 4. The pairing factor here is itself 3, so we're going to say that 9/12 simplifies to 3/4. And we know that 3/4 is in lowest terms because 3 and 4 are consecutive numbers. So the consecutive number rule takes over there. Very, very easy stuff. When the kids get plugged into these rules, there's nothing that can throw them. 10/12, we need to simplify. That's the even over even rule. Each can be evenly divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 equals 5. 12 divided by 2 equals 6. We know that 5, 6 is in lowest terms because of the consecutive number rule. 11/12, lowest terms. And again, because of the consecutive number rule. Okay? 12 twelfths, we know we have to simplify 12 twelfths. N is equal to D. Therefore, 12 twelfths simplifies to 1 whole. And that's it. So far we've got 7 of our 8 rules. Let me flip this over and we'll take a look at fifths. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and 5/5. If you were to, well, we don't have to for this one. Let's start out with 1/5. We're going to say it's LT, and that's because N is equal to 1. But now for 2/5, 3/5, and 4/5, if you were to factor each one of these, you'd see that the GCF was equal to 1. So we're going to say LT, 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 all because the GCF here is equal to 1. GCF equal to 1. GCF equal to 1. However, you don't need to do any of this stuff right here. Here's our rule number 8. Anytime D equals prime, anytime the denominator is a prime number, and I'm gonna want you to play with sevenths on your own. You'll find that N equal D will work for the first one, and then GCF is equal to 1 and all the rest. 7 is also a prime number. Anytime your denominator D equals a prime number, your fraction is guaranteed to be in lowest terms, with the exception of the last fraction in the string. So it would be 5/5, 7/7, 11/11, with the exception of this last fraction, which needs to be simplified because N is equal to D. So every fraction in a string of fractions where the denominator is a prime number, every fraction except the last one in the string is in lowest terms, guaranteed. And that last one, again, always simplifies to 1 whole. That's our 8 rules. So we hope you find this very helpful. In the videos so far, we've shown you how to simplify fractions making factor tables. We've showed you how to simplify fractions making prime factor trees, prime number trees, and we've shown you here 8 rules that will handle any fraction that you can come in contact with. And we hope a combination of all 3 of these things will help you with your dealing with figuring out whether a fraction is in lowest terms or whether or not it needs to be simplified. We got nothing else for you in this program. We're going to get into some stuff now on addition and subtraction of fractions, and then multiplication of fractions, and then cancellation, so that you don't have to simplify. That's all coming up in the future, but for now, this is the Good Math Guy saying this is all we have for today, and so we'll say bye-bye.
All right, everybody, on this next slide, I highly suggest that you pause the video and take notes of the 8 rules so that you have them in a notebook or a journal of some sort so that you can revisit them as you are working on your fractions. That being said, we really hope that you guys find something useful in these 8 rules. Being in the classroom and my father being out of the classroom but also having lots of years in the classroom, we know fractions give kids nightmares. 4th and 5th graders literally lose sleep over this stuff. So our intention here is to hopefully make that a little bit easier on you, the parents, and you, the students. So without anything else for this episode, we are going to say bye-bye.